Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Jemma, and joining me again this week, I have the effervescent Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
I tell you, I'm making a list of all these things that I am with each week. Effervescent this week. Nice.
Yes.
Last time it was
Yes.
ever present. I went from ever present to effervescent. Nice.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you like it. Yes. No. Thank you for joining me again this week. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a full list in front of us that we have. It's been a busy week, I think. A lot of just little tidbits of information that we'd like to share with you, from Switch 2 rumors to demos that Kirk's been privy to, as well as plenty of games that we're playing, of course. But we'll start with those Switch 2 rumors because they were just flying around like crazy last week or during the week. Um, on Twitter, it was trending, or X was trending, Switch 2. And people, I wanted to, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because, it isn't a thing yet. And we don't know when or if Nintendo's going to drop a direct on us anytime soon. I was saying to you before the show, Kirk, that Nintendo traditionally does do a September direct, even since they began doing directs in 2011. They've done a September direct every year, I believe, except 2015. So there is, that history that we can expect a direct. And people online are clamoring. They're like, we want a direct in a positive way. They're like, oh, it's going to happen this week or next week. Sorry, it's going to be. They're going to drop the Switch 2 on us. Now, we probably collectively as a team don't think that's going to happen. As in, we don't think they're going to announce the Switch 2 next week or this week. Do we? I don't know.
No, they won't.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm not even going to say that I don't think they will. I'm positive they're not going to do anything this week.
Yeah, no, I agree. But people are getting very excited. I think, and Trev, I think maybe left this note. He's not with us this week, but he said that there's a new Zelda Switch Lite coming out. I even saw. Did you see that there's an OLED Mario Wonder Switch? At least in Australia or Europe, there's this new. I didn't get the details, so I just saw it in passing during the week that it's coming out, preloaded with Mario Wonder on it, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. So they're doing all of these. Sorry, and I did ask, did you see that? I didn't let you answer.
I did, and the same as you. I saw it in passing and didn't think much of it.
Yeah, yes. So if they're releasing all these, new versions of their like, iterations or whatever, special editions, let's call them, probably not going to announce a Switch 2, and then no one's going to buy the OLED version of Mario, the Mario console. Even I'm tempted. I wish I could get one. I really want to get one, but I can't because I know they're going to release a Switch 2 soon. I don't want to drop $400 or $500 on an OLED model. But
Yeah,
that's
like
okay.
I wonder what like where do you have to be in order to say, yeah, we a new system is coming, but I'm going to go ahead and pick this up anyway with this game. I can't get into that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Are they targeting maybe people who don't have a Switch and who might be, I don't know, convinced by having a game with Mario already on it that makes it slightly easier?
It
I
could
don't
be. I
know.
mean, people are coming of age to buy a Switch all the time, so there's always
True.
going to be new buyers.
True.
And maybe that's it. Let's just give them something
Yeah.
else so they're not tempted to wait.
Yeah, exactly. And does the Switch Lite with the sort of the Zelda theme on it, that doesn't come preloaded, do we know? I don't think it does it?
I don't think it does.
With Echoes of Wisdom? No.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. That's not something they've done a lot of with the Switch. I know they did a lot of that with was it the 3DS, I guess? They came with games or something they did in the back in the day, but I don't think they've done that a lot with the Switch necessarily. Maybe it was, yeah. Was it the 3DS? I don't know. That's testing my memory
Can't
now.
recall. Can't recall.
Yeah.
Trev, where are you?
Yeah.
You have all these answers.
Yes. He's screaming them at us as he's watching this after the
Yeah.
fact. But but I thought it was interesting, and I thought, we know that Nintendo will announce it before March, end of March next year. And, in a way, announcing that date is actually, I think it's working for Nintendo because I think the fans are being quite positive. Like they want this, right? And they're speculating about names and all sorts. Um, but what I think is Nintendo's they haven't even announced it. They're not even talking about it. And yet the fans are clamoring for it. I think it's kind of building momentum and building hype just because they know it's inevitable in the next kind of 6 months. It has to happen in the next 6 months, right? So is that clever marketing or just luck?
Yeah, and I think it is. I think it looks even more clever now, considering that with the PS5 Pro announcement and the
Mm.
cost of that, that
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people saying why, like and again, I've never played a PS5. We have a PS4 in the basement,
Mhm.
for the kids.
Yeah.
Um, the adults play the Switch, the kids play the PS4. But the the price for it and these minimal to the untrained eye visual bump you're getting with it seem to put off a lot of potential buyers. And I saw people on Twitter
Mm.
saying that, why would I do this? I may just wait now and see what the Switch 2 is going to be and go
Mm.
that route. So I think that's one of the reasons why there was so much Switch 2 activities, because everybody's like, well, do I jump on this or do I wait and see what this, because if there are people who are really into the higher end processors and the more impressive graphics, are we going to get that with the Switch 2? Let's wait and find out before
Mm.
we drop this cash on a PS5
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, exactly. It was very interesting seeing that conversation
Yeah.
flow during the week, and people were saying things like, I could buy was it 4 Wii Us for the price of a PS5 Pro or something? And they said, "I'd rather have
Yeah.
4 Wii Us." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, it's interesting because Wii U was trending at some point. I think GameCube was trending as well. It was a busy trending week for Nintendo systems.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think too. I mean, obviously, the Switch 2 is in no way, shape, or form going to come close to PS5 Pro graphic
Mhm.
levels.
Mhm.
That's just not Nintendo's thing, and that's part of the reason why I'm a Nintendo guy.
Mhm. So very interesting week for all these like switch to not even rumors, just well, some of them were rumors, but it wasn't about will the Switch 2 be backwards compatible or will it be high definition or whatever people are saying 4K. It was just people were saying will there be a direct next week? And they wanted it to. They thought it's great timing. Sony's obviously released this information about the PS5 Pro. Nintendo's just going to do the mic drop and just say, "Hey, here's the Switch 2." But I think we know it's not good timing for Nintendo to do so. Coming into holiday season, etc. So we'll see. Hey, we could be wrong, but we're pretty sure that's our guess that it's not happening this week. But
Oh,
I
and you
do
know what? I
think,
do.
yeah,
I do have one more thought. Sorry on
hmm
that.
yeah, go for it.
Since the PS5 Pro came in at $700, now everyone was talking about how the Switch was going to be more expensive and how upsetting that was.
Mhm,
But even if they're asking 400 now
mhm,
for the Switch 2, if they do 450, I can't imagine it'd be that much. But
mhm.
it's still nothing compared to the PS5 Pro. So if
Mm.
Nintendo does have to bump up the price because they're not going to bump it up to $700, it's still going to look like one of the better values available.
Yes, absolutely, and I can't imagine they would come anywhere near 700. That would be pretty ridiculous and unprecedented for
Yeah,
Nintendo. They do
yeah,
tend to keep
boy.
it relatively cheap, in terms of consoles. It probably will be bumped a little just because everything lately has been. But that's yeah, we'll see, of course. Very interesting, very interesting. It's gonna be, the next 6 months will be, yeah, fun to see what happens. Yes, and until we hear the official announcement, of course, we just can guess and speculate, but until then, stay tuned.
Yes,
I wanted to revisit something from last week because we talked about the Minecraft movie trailer, and I just wanted to touch on what I think is pretty awesome. Some crazy talented person. There's so many people who do these kinds of things on YouTube, and I think they're amazing. They've taken the Minecraft movie trailer and animated it, like put in Minecraft shaped people instead of the real life people. Did you get a chance to look at this?
I did. I did.
Yeah, I think it looks so much better. I just have to say. I wonder if we're being, like, catfished or what's the term? I wonder if it's a joke. We're just I do wonder if the actual trailer that was released is a joke and they really will give us an animated version.
That would
Bec
be funny. That would be some very clever, daring marketing, and I
Yeah.
can't imagine that's the case, but now I kind of hope so too.
Yeah, yeah, it's just I just can't imagine now the whole movie of
Yeah,
of the real life action people.
is that trailer meant to be a full trailer, or is it just a teaser? And if it is a
The
teaser, which I assume it is, I
Mhm.
think they got to quit doing this because when I was watching the animated version, it struck out even more to me that there is absolutely nothing in this to tell us what's going on with this movie. It
Yeah,
literally is, hey, Minecraft movie, and that's it.
yeah. I believe it is a
And
teaser. It's a fairly lengthy teaser though. What is it, a minute and
yeah,
a half or something? Usually teasers would be maybe like 30 seconds or something. It's looks like a trailer, but it serves as a teaser.
yeah,
Um,
and it
yeah.
fails.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
any interest I would have had in seeing in the movie was actually negated by what they showed in the teaser because now I'm like, oh look, here's Jack Black and what's the guy's Jason Momoa, is that his name? My
Yeah,
apologies if I
Aquaman.
don't get that
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
look at the crazy outfits they're wearing, and here's Jack Black, and now somebody's going to make a joke about Jack. Is that's I wanted to ask you that because you play the game or your kids do. I could ask my
Mhm.
own, but
Yeah.
they're not here. Tool bag
Uh,
is that like a Minecraft joke that I don't get, or was it just a badly placed? A guy introduces himself as Steve, and the girl says, "Oh, what a tool bag!" Like all he did was say his name. So unless
yeah.
that's an in joke, I don't even get the timing of the comedy of that.
I
And
don't think so. The kids didn't
okay,
the kids did not know what that word was, and I don't think it's a really appropriate word to use in a kids movie, to be honest, but maybe in Australia it has a bit more of a worse meaning. I don't know. I wouldn't go
well,
around
no,
saying it.
yeah, if we're, yeah, it's there's an innuendo there that I think is
Exactly, exactly.
probably lost.
Yes.
Um,
So I don't think it's
so
super appropriate to be using that, phrasing in a kids movie, to be honest. So I was very surprised when I heard that. I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
that's not I don't think they should." So, yeah, no, not any joke that I'm aware of, just a bad term to use in a movie. Yeah, very, very odd, and yeah, you're right, no one's talking about that. We did at home talk about that because I was asked, What is that? What does that mean?" And I'm like, well, it's just not a nice phrase, not something you should call people, that's for sure. Yeah, very
yeah,
interesting. We did a bit of a poll on YouTube during the week, just to ask people after watching the trailer, the original trailer, were you more likely to see the movie, less likely to see the movie, or you were always gonna see it or never going to see it? The highest response was I was never going to see it. 41% of people said that, and 37%, so pretty close, said, they are now less likely to see the movie. Only 7% said they're more likely to see the movie.
okay.
And 15% said they were always going to see it. So, an interesting mix of responses there. Yeah,
Well,
very, very interesting.
yeah, you know my feeling on video game movies in
Yeah.
general. Um,
Yes.
Although
Yeah.
like I said, I'm still greatly looking forward to the Zelda movie because there's an actual story and things they can do with that, and a world to kind of bring to life that you don't really get with Minecraft because you're
Mhm.
building the world, so it's going to be a different experience for everybody as opposed to seeing these locations that you've played through and we've all shared and journeyed through with all the gamers have basically the same experience and we'll be looking for the same things instead of our own creations within it that obviously won't be there because the creators of the movie didn't see our creations.
Exactly. Would you like to see a Xenoblade Chronicles movie? Maybe an anime or not?
Yeah, boy, I don't see that's that one's although I like Xenoblade Chronicles more than Zelda, and I my sorry, No, everybody
That's okay.
wants to lynch me now. I just prefer those games, but they were all set in like contained worlds, whereas Zelda is in Hyrule, so it's kind of like this world that started small and grew as we grew playing it. So there's more of a connection to it, and it kind
Mm.
of has the
Mhm.
same characters. So you know all of that. If you're going to make a Xenoblade Chronicles movie, you would kind of have to start from scratch because otherwise you're
Mm.
just telling an adventure that we went through,
True.
like the same conversation we had with Zelda, how it would be better to just tell a new story within this universe as opposed to giving us a Twilight Princess on film.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah,
because you don't have the same characters and locations in all the Xenoblade Chronicles games, it would be weird because it just wouldn't really feel like Xenoblade Chronicles other than by name.
yeah. Fair enough. That makes sense. Be interesting. You never know, one day. I love these and I'm sorry we're getting a bit off track here, but the Pikmin shorts, they were really cute. Did you see those little
Yeah.
shorts? Yeah,
Yes.
they were really lovely. And I think the difference is that Nintendo was involved with those, and Nintendo was involved with the Mario movie, for example. You know, it's not the most perfect movie in the world by any means, but it did what it set out to do, which was bring Mario's world to life. And I think it's because Nintendo was holding, Illumination Studios' hands with that. Like they, Miyamoto was involved. So hopefully the same thing happens with the Zelda movie. Nintendo's involvement will make sure it's as realistic in terms of how the fans want to see it as possible. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
very
I
interesting.
think we can trust them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did get a comment from our friend Jose Rios again last week about the trailers in general, and he loves the new Echoes of Wisdom trailer, which we're also excited about. And he did say the Minecraft movie trailer looks all right to him, and he is excited to see the movie. So yeah, awesome. As I
Well,
said, we will be
I
seeing.
hope for him that it's good. I mean, I'm
Me
sitting here
too.
bad mouthing it, but for all
Yes.
of the fans out there who are looking forward to it, I really hope it's a good movie.
Yes. And as I said, we will, my family and I will be seeing it, of course, because we're big movie fans and also gaming fans. So it's kind of a no-brainer for us. It's just very interesting with the style, and we'll see if they do change it at all in the next 6 months. Anyway, I was very excited to learn. Oh, well, not. It's only a little change actually, but moving on, Star Wars Hunters Season 3 is coming out very soon. In the Nintendo Direct, the partner showcase, I guess it was, they said it was the 26th of September, but it's actually moved forward 2 days for some reason. It's the 24th of September. So if you are looking forward to it like I am, you can see it 2 days sooner than previously expected. The 24th of September is a Tuesday. What is with Tuesdays lately? Yars Rising came out on the 10th, which was Tuesday. Now we're getting 24th, Tuesday. Disney Plus is doing this too. They're releasing Only Murders in the Building episodes on Tuesdays now. I don't know. I don't get it. I like consistency. What's going on?
Well, I can say going way back to even before any of this, when I was looking forward to new albums back in the
Mhm.
80s, 90s, they were always released on Tuesday. Always.
Really?
I have no idea why, but Tuesday was the day. And it might have even been the same with movies like VHS and DVDs
Oh,
and Blu
wow.
rays. Always Tuesdays. And
Interesting.
maybe it was because there were being physical things that were being sent to stores, so it might have had something to do with transport or
Yeah, yeah,
um,
maybe. Mm.
who knows. But yeah, Tuesday was the day. So
Well,
I
they're
don't
bringing
understand why it's got to be Tuesdays for digital release. Obviously, you can just flip
no,
the switch at
I
any
know.
time. But
Yeah, maybe they're trialing because I know for us, what happens in Australia is Friday is the day for games to come out, and Thursday's the day for movies to come out, like at the cinema. And then, streaming platforms do their own thing. Disney used to be Fridays, I think, for like Mandalorian type of stuff, and then it moved to Thursdays for like Ahsoka and things like that, or Wednesdays even maybe. And now the Tuesdays. I don't know what's going on. I like. Yeah, well, I like that. They're bringing back Tuesdays, and maybe they're just trying to, if all the games come out on the eShop on a Thursday, I think in the US maybe it is. I think it's Thursday, um, or is it Friday? Anyway, whatever it is, maybe there's too much competition and some developers are able to or publishers are able to push it to a Tuesday just because, hey, here it is. I don't know why. Does it make people more likely to buy it? I wonder if there's some research that people are looking at e-shops more on a Tuesday. I don't know. I don't think so.
nothing else to do. Fridays are
Yeah.
busier.
Yeah, true, true. We have cheap
Although,
Tuesdays here. So it's like this is the cheap day to go to the cinema. That's the cheap day to get pizza at Domino's. It's Tuesdays. So
oh wow,
yeah, because
two
it's
two for
quiet.
Tuesdays on pizza.
Yeah, because it's a quiet day. People aren't going to the movies on Tuesdays as much as other days, so they make it cheaper. They make pizza cheaper. They make everything cheaper. I don't know why.
I
Yeah,
do prefer like big video game releases. I prefer them to be on Fridays because if it's a game I'm really into, I want to take the day off and pick it up at Best Buy at 10 a.m. and then just come home and play it all day and not have to
true.
worry about going to work the next day. Just
Mhm.
make it a 3 day
Yes.
weekend so I can
Yeah.
play video games.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Yes, very true. So sorry, that was a bit of a segue, but yes, Star Wars Hunters Season 3, 24th of September on a Tuesday. Look forward to that. Let's move on to a demo that you were playing recently. You were previewed on Discord. Is it
Yes,
REYNATIS? Is that how you say it?
Reynatis,
REYNATIS?
Reynatis.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is another game that's being released in the US by NIS America on multiple platforms. The developer is Furyu, I believe. Um, I hope I got that right.
Mhm.
If not, edit me out. But yeah, a couple weeks ago, Pure Nintendo was invited to participate in a Discord preview of this game, and I wrote up a preview for it at our site. There's a bullet point preview with my thoughts on the half-hour demo that we got on the game.
Cool.
This is an action RPG, action JRPG style game. The hook to it this time is there are two main characters. It's set in modern day Shibuya, and
Mhm.
a very, I should say, a very lovingly created. Now, I've never been there, but it just looks very authentic, and their depiction of Shibuya in this game. And they said that the developers really went out of their way to put like actual storefronts and
Oh,
signs
wow.
that you would see there. So I
Cool.
don't know if there's like actual promotion of brands so much as just a representation of it. We'll find out soon.
Mhm.
Um, but it's in a world where there are magic users, but not everybody uses magic. So there are regulations against it because they don't want these people who have this ability to, be able to have more power and move illegally freely through the city.
Mhm.
Um, there are two main characters. One, Marin, excuse me, Marin, no D at the end of that,
Mhm.
is a magic user. He's a wizard. He wants to be the greatest wizard of all time. And then there is an MEA officer. An MEA is an organization that enforces the rules against magic users to make sure they're not allowed to use them. Her name is Sari, and you play as both of them. So the story, they're kind of like in conflicting with one another, of course, towards the beginning. I don't know much beyond the demo that we saw, so I don't know how if that relationship changes as we move along. But when you're Marin, the very interesting thing about it is um, there are two phases of combat because when he's using liberation mode, I believe it's called, that's when he's using his skills. He's not allowed to do it. So if he's having a big fight out in the streets, then people who are on the streets are going to see what's going on. They're going to film it. They're going to put it up on social media, and they're going to alert the authorities, and they're going to come and take him down.
Right.
So he's got to be careful about how long he uses it and where he uses it. But the other thing is during suppression mode, that's where he builds up his magic. Suppression mode, you are not allowed to use magic, but you also cannot be detected. So if there's a fight going on, you're basically just dodging. You can't attack at all in this mode. You're avoiding blows. The better you time
Mm.
your dodges, the quicker you fill up your magic. And you want it to be completely full because I believe there are extra abilities available to you or powers when you are completely charged. But so you dodge, and then once that's filled up, then you switch over to suppression mode. Excuse me, liberation mode, and then you're able to go into the attacks. So it's
Cool.
kind of a unique dynamic I haven't seen before. Both of them have a couple of companions, so you're able to switch between your companions when you're controlling the different people. Um, it's very action focused. Have downloaded the demo. I have not played it yet, but it is available now. So if anybody's interested, you can get it. The game itself will be released on September 27th,
Cool. Which is a Thursday.
Friday.
Friday, like
Yeah.
normal. I'm gonna be obsessed with the days of the week now. Uh, it looks really nice. I love this picture where is he wielding is it a sword or is it a wand since he's a magic wielder? What is his giant yellow weapon thing that he's carrying?
If I recall, he was using it as more of a sword.
Mhm,
So I think there are like close attacks, and then there are more ranged attacks too. So there's different
mhm.
capabilities you're able to acquire, I believe, and push forward that way with better abilities as you progress.
Oh.
And the different people that you are able to swap between during combat have different abilities and weapons of their own. So it kind of keeps things a little more fluid as you're going throughout. It's not going to be like completely redundant fighting. And although
Mm.
in fact, the person who was giving us the demo, and with apologies, I can't remember his name, said that you'll probably find a favorite character that you want to lose or use the most, but it's more beneficial to swap characters in and out as you're fighting. Certain enemies will be, more susceptible to attacks by various characters, and when you do switch, the other character that you're swapping out stays on for a bit, so you get like a little bit of tag team action
Oh,
before he has
cool.
to exit the ring, as they say.
Yeah. Is that a wrestling thing?
That is a
Wrestling thing?
wrestling
Yeah.
thing.
Nice. I like that. That's a nice little extra kind of, I don't know, feature they've added in. Yeah, nice. Cool. So yeah, we've got a couple of weeks till it's out. The demo is available now. Um, yeah, give it a try, I suppose. We've been sport with demos lately, honestly. It's
Yeah.
been some really good ones. Yeah, great. Anything else on REYNATIS?
Nope, I don't think so. If you do like it, make sure you check out the NIS America website, because there are deluxe editions and limited editions if you want the
Mm.
physical copies. And the limited edition, available I think only through their website, is pretty slick. It's got some good stuff in it, and it's 50% sold out. So
Oh,
don't
wow.
waste too much time if this looks like a game you want to pick up.
Yeah. Is it a series? Is this a
No, yeah,
completely
brand
original?
new,
Yeah. Okay.
brand new, and that's another thing I like about it. I like it when developers are willing to take chances on new properties instead of just sequels after sequel after sequel.
Yeah, totally. I mean, sequels have their place if you're a fan of a series, you want to see
Oh,
more of it.
definitely, yeah,
But yeah, it's always exciting to get something new, that's for sure. So yeah, very cool. Love it. Thank you. Another game that isn't new but is getting a physical release, which I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention because I reviewed it back in I think around April or thereabouts, is Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley. And it's just such a sweet game. It's really nice. You play the role of a man who befriends animals in the forest and he plays musical instruments and you unlock different instruments along the way and you level them up to do different things like unlock, move trees and the animals will help you if you play a song to them, that kind of thing. So it's all about, I suppose, the environment and animals and helping them. The land on which they live is being kind of taken over and turned into a, I don't know, park or something, but they wanna just let the animals roam free, like Snufkin, the main character, wants them to roam free, so he helps them do that. It is based on, I think, a book series. Seems to be very popular in Japan because when I was in Japan in April, that's how I know it was around that time that I was reviewing it. I saw it everywhere. I saw merchandise, like in the local 7-Eleven, there'd be a Snufkin thing you could buy. I'm like, "Huh, I'm reviewing that game." I didn't even never even heard of it before I reviewed it. So
yeah,
yeah. So very cute, very cool. And I think I gave it 8 out of 10. So it's a pretty fun game, pretty fun time. Obviously, targeted to all audiences. It's very, I think it's might be 3 plus or whatever it is, the Peggy, not Peggy, what do you call it in America? Whatever the rating is, CBRC. Yeah,
ESRB.
ESRB. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, just thought I'd say that I did notice it's getting a physical release, which is really nice if you're a collector, just like you were saying about REYNATIS and getting special editions and such. You can get a physical copy for yourself on the 15th of November, which I believe is also a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It is. It's a Friday. There you go. So keep an eye out for that one. If there are any special deals or offers, we'll let you know as well. Another quick one I wanted to bring to everyone's attention because it's coming out this week on the 17th of September is a little game called Plucky Squire. And I only, and the 17th is a Tuesday. Look at that. What is
Yeah,
that all
see,
about?
yep, it's a
Sweet.
it's a fight. It's a battle between the 2 days.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Only one will remain
Yeah.
standing.
And it was Nintendo who actually tweeted this. I saw a trailer on their Twitter channel, and then there's a video on their YouTube channel. They do promote a lot of games, not just first party games. They do promote a lot of other games. It is oh gosh, I'm so bad. Is it Devolver Digital or Digital? What's the company called?
Yeah, Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital. How can I get that wrong? Devolver Digital is the publisher, and they have published a lot of great games, such as Cult of the Lamb. Like honestly, there's so many games on the Switch that they've published, so that caught my attention. This is much more, I think, family friendly than something like Halt to the Lamb. It looks like it is aimed at a kind of a wider audience. I think it's 10 plus rated, the SRB rating, and it's a storybook style uh, tale. This little plucky squire is kicked out of the story by this kind of wizard creature or person who wants to take over the world, the storybook world. And so they have to kind of work their way through levels to, I don't know, fix things or whatever. It looks really lovely. The trailer looks just colorful, and the storybook elements really sort of stand out. I just think it looks like quite a nice game. So I'm excited to see how that one goes next week or this week, sorry, when it comes out. We're launching this podcast on the 16th, so it'll be out tomorrow if you're listening today. Had you ever heard of this before? Because I hadn't before this tweet, and I just saw that it was from Nintendo. I'm like, oh, what is this Plucky Squire? Oh, that looks pretty nice. Had you heard of it at all?
I have. I have.
Yes.
We
Okay.
we we did get a press release on this, so it come to my attention.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because like when the art that they use to kind of promote it is basically the storybook art. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then you really need to look beyond that, because if you look at the actual screen captures of the game,
Hmm.
it's very much set in, I'm not going to say a real world, but like a 3D world,
Mm.
um, with these 2D characters, whether they're working their way back or something. Visually, it's a very, very interesting concept of
Yes.
watching these characters from a storybook navigate the real world to work their way back. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely take a look at it. It looks like it may be surprising in the kind of depth and the gameplay that it's going to offer.
Yeah, yeah. It looks quite versatile. I think you jump between 2D and 3D worlds in terms of, I guess, platforming. Looks like it's got puzzles to solve. It looks quite humorous as well, like it mentions boxing badges. Don't know. You have a jetpack at some point. It looks like it's, yeah, it looks like it's quite varied and interesting in its setup and gameplay. So yeah, one to watch out for, definitely. And I guess a bit of a public, what do you call it? PSA, public service announcement. If you're in Australia, if you're listening to this, Coles supermarkets have eShop cards on sale for 20% off from the 24th of September. Sorry, the 18th to the 24th of September. 20% off is a lot, right? I will definitely be purchasing some myself because that's a huge discount, 20%. So yeah, that's only kind of a week in there from the 18th to the 24th.
Wow.
So you get into your local Coles supermarket. And that's the other thing. Our supermarkets here, their sales go from Wednesday to Tuesday, and the 18th is a Wednesday. So there's another day thing. Just fun fact. I don't know what they do in the US, but yeah, that's what happens.
But for supermarkets, I don't even know if they announce sales. You just get flyers, like this particular item is on sale for now. I guess they date it.
Yeah, no,
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Maybe I just pay too much attention to these things. Wednesdays, they change. The sales start on Wednesdays. They go for a week, and then they change the next Wednesday. So you'll get your whatever drinks or chips or whatever you're buying. It's on special this week. It's a weekly special. So yeah. And
Well,
this
yeah,
weekly
I would
special.
definitely pick up eShop cards if they were 20% off. I think that's great. Even if I'm just stocking up for gifts for Christmas down the road,
Mm-hmm.
get them now. Save yourself some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'll be getting a few myself. I think there's a maximum of 5 per customer or something
Ah,
like that. And you what I think the eShop you can only preload up to like $300 or something. Maybe that's Australian. Um, yeah, just FYI. So look into the details. But yeah, they obviously have all the denominations. I think you can get is it 20, 30, 50, 100, something like that. There's a few different cards you can buy. So yeah, go nuts. I think it's great timing for people digitally purchasing Echoes of Wisdom, for example, or anything else. Mario Jamboree is out very soon. Yeah, there's a few big ones coming out. Or if you're just getting the Plucky Squire or REYNATIS digitally, you can basically get a
yeah.
game for 20% off. If you're buying an eShop card for 20% off, and then you load it up onto your account on your Nintendo Switch, the game is basically 20% off at that point, so I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. Let us know if you are in Australia, and if you are gonna partake in that because, yeah, I will definitely be doing that. Let's move on to the games that we're playing because we have a nice healthy list and we've got plenty of time to talk about them, which is awesome. So I will begin, and I'm playing a game called Volgarr the Viking 2. Now, I have to admit, I had not heard of Volgarr the Viking before playing this game. At first, I thought it was just like his name was Volgarr the Viking 2, because I think my internet was playing up at the time, but I was searching Volgarr the Viking to find the original game, and I could not find it. And it turns out we reviewed it on our website. It was on the Wii U, the original game. So, you can check that out as well if you like, but I'm reviewing the second one. It's a platformer, it's an action platformer, it's in a 16-bit kind of style, which I love. He's this big hulking Viking who's one favors with the gods, and has now returned to battle demons on Earth, basically. And so it's a traditional left to right platformer, up and down, that kind of thing. You sport a massive sword as well as a spear, limitless spears, which I love. So you can just throw to your heart's content.
Limitless spears.
Yeah, don't know how that works, but it
Yeah.
is. He's very big and bulky, and what I mean by that is when you jump, you kind of feel the weight of him. Like he's a big Viking dude. Like I imagine him being a big, tall person. He's just big. He's like he's a strong person who I just love that the mechanics feel the weight. Like you feel that he's you know got weight to him. So I love that. He's only got one life. It's weird. So the downside to this game, because I really started enjoying it when I first played it. I'm like, this is really fun. I love good platformer. It's kind of challenging. It looks really neat. The enemies are varied. But at some point, I was dying a lot, even in the very first level, and you get whisked right back to the beginning. And so it became a little bit frustrating after a while. You can pick up these shields, I suppose. There's treasures to collect along the way, lots of gold to get, which is really fun. But as you get these shields, it beefs up your kind of hits. You get more hits per shield, but when you die, you lose all of those shields. So you're back to being one hit, one kill kind of thing. And that became a bit frustrating until eventually I randomly just became a zombie version of myself. Like green. I was literally green skinned. And I didn't really know what was going on, except now I seem to be able to get hit and not die. So that was interesting. The game could have done a better job of explaining what was happening and why, I think, is the short version of that. The platforming itself is fun. It's just there's a little bit of a communication issue with why am I green now? Can I change back to a normal Viking or do I have to remain zombie Volgarr? And the save points, because they're few and far between, mean that you do have to repeat a lot of the gameplay if you die. And so even as zombie Volgarr, who I think is invincible, you can still fall off a cliff. And that's really annoying because you come so far through the level and then you just mistime your jump or whatever, or an enemy hits you, the jumps are a little off. You can't really move during a jump. You kind of just jump, and then if you haven't timed it well, you just watch yourself fall. You're like, back to the beginning. Okay, dang it. So there's a bit of frustration there. Overall, good but flawed. Yes. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
When I got this press release, and then we
Mhm.
followed up to get a review, I was thinking of taking it myself because I thought it looked kind of cool.
Mm.
But as you know, I'm not that great at platformers, and I think the word brutal was mentioned in the press release. And whenever I see that
Oh,
with
there you
platformers,
go.
I'm like, this is not for me. But considering it's advertised as being brutal, and I certainly know that there is an audience for players who like to take on
Mm.
that challenge, and I get that.
Mhm.
I wonder if the zombie thing is a pity feature
Yeah, I think so.
where
I
they're like, this
think
is just
so.
taking too long, and we're gonna help the player out here, because I know some games do have that can kick in
Mhm.
automatically to ease the process.
Yeah. I
But I
had
can't
way
imagine
more
you'd want it on for the rest of the game, though.
well, I had way more fun as zombie Volgarr than I did before it, but falling was still unhelpful. I think it's just that I mean, I don't mind it being brutal. It's it gives you the chance to, try and try and try again until you get something right if it's particularly hard. However, because they push you so far back when you die, you
Yeah,
really have to work your way through all of that other stuff to get to that point where you died again. And because you lose your shields or whatever, you're back to one hit. So you're really vulnerable, which I don't love. So yeah, being Volgarr, sorry, zombie Volgarr was actually really fun. I did enjoy hacking and slashing after that. I just think maybe they needed some difficulty options like easy, medium, hard, or even just normal and hard or something, or normal and brutal, maybe. um, as well as maybe explaining, because I didn't even notice at first. I was just like, wait, am I green all of a sudden? What's going on? Why am I green? And I'm like, I look like a zombie. And then I kind of did some research and found out, yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. And you can't really change it back. So you just kind of stuck. You have to restart if you want to do it again. As I believe there are alternate endings as well. And the endings are different if you're not a zombie, which is kind of cool
Well,
because it makes you want to play it again, I suppose. But
yeah, yeah.
it's
That,
really
that now I
hard.
see it as incentive to go back, start over, and see how far you can get, or get through the whole game without becoming a zombie.
Yes, except you don't know that, unless you researched like I did. There's no it doesn't tell you that. I think they just maybe need some more instructions there. Anyway, it's still fun. I yeah, just flawed in my
Okay.
opinion. But yes, good fun
Oh,
still.
and I do see the first Volgarr available for the
Mhm.
Switch here, at least in the US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was released in 2017.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I believe that one was more well received than the second one. I'm not sure overall what the Metacritic score, but yeah, sounded like, the ones that I'd the people I saw who reviewed it enjoyed the first one more than the second one. Yeah. The levels, I believe, were shorter in the first one. The levels in the second one are really long, which, could be a good thing, more gameplay, right? But that's why it's so frustrating to get sent back to the beginning because the levels are really long. I think if the save points were more frequent, that would really help with that issue. Yeah. But yes, anyway, if you've played it, let us know because we'd love to know your thoughts on Volga the Viking 2. But let's move on to something I'm excited to hear about from you, which is Ace Attorney Investigations. How's this one going?
If you've ever played an Ace Attorney game, then you, it's going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is one of the more intriguing Ace Attorney games I've played, and if it has been released in the US, then I've played it.
Mhm.
I greatly enjoy these games, whether I'm playing them by myself or I may have mentioned in the past what we used to do was my family and I would all play them together, and we would each take on the roles of different characters. So when that character's dialogue was on the screen, we would read it and act it out. It
I
was
love
kind
that.
of a reading exercise for my kids up front at one point. And then after a while, we kind of just kept doing it, especially Sophie. Sophie and I used to love to take on these mysteries together. But in this one, you're playing Miles Edgeworth, who was the antagonist of the first ones. He was the prosecutor who was opposite Phoenix Wright, and the gameplay is a lot different here. These were games that were released, I believe, maybe for the Game Boy or the DS in Japan only. So this is the first time they've been released in the US. They've been
Oh, I
the
didn't know that.
visuals have been updated,
Mhm.
so they're now HD. Although again, you can play pixel art style if you want to.
Cool.
Um, but I'm not nearly far enough into the game to give a full review yet. I'm on the third, we'll say, case. Um, there are two games here, and I'm in the third case on the first game. I even have yet to see a courtroom. There, most of it actually takes place where the crime is. Miles seems to find himself there when these crimes happen, or soon thereafter, and he does all of his investigations and his prosecutor work right there at the scene. So it's definitely got a different feel than the other ones where you kind of interviewed people, and then you would go into the courtroom, and then you would go back to the scene of the crime and investigate, and then interview people, and then go back to the courtroom. In this, you're kind of doing the same thing, but it all happens pretty much right where the crime takes place, or anywhere else you have to go within the immediate area to look for clues. So far, um,
Cool.
so it's got a different feel. I feel like it's a little bit easier than some of the games I played recently. I'm able to put more of it together. There are different dynamics that you have to do, like combine clues into one clue in order to further the story. Um, but a lot of it, I'm able to do it without either thinking too hard or worst case scenario looking up a walkthrough, which I have had to do in the past. And I have, yes, a couple times in this game too. Not gonna lie.
Mhm,
Um, but so it's easier to put the stuff together. It's a little bit too easy at times, by which I mean that I can, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking about the demo, possibly.
mhm,
There are times where I'm ahead of the game. And I can see, well, these two items are obviously going to go together because they explain this, but the game doesn't want me to do that yet. So if I combine those two elements, I get punished, and it takes away. There's like a little meter where if you make two mistakes, then you've got to move back and start over. Um, they do go together and they are part of it. It's just it didn't want me to do it yet. There was something else it wanted me to do first, and the order seems kind of arbitrary at times. So that's a little bit annoying when I'm like, well, all right, let's
mhm.
just accept this and then let me go back and get the other one after this. But it's such a minor complaint. The stories are as insane as they usually are. The characters are crazy and a lot of fun to read. There are a lot of throwbacks to the original Phoenix Wright games. There are a lot of characters kind of show back up. At one point, I guess I won't give a spoiler, but make sure you pay attention to the environments, and in some cases, leave the immediate area and look around. You do get achievements, and you may catch some of your favorite characters just kind of like hanging out somewhere in the background for a fun little Easter egg.
Oh, cool.
But really enjoying it so far. I wish I didn't have to play it by myself.
Yeah, yes. So even though you've played all of the games in the US so far, these are actually new for you because they haven't been released in the US previously. Is that
Yep.
correct? Yeah, it's awesome.
And
Okay.
I think these may be the last two. I believe everything else has now had a US release in some one way or another, but I could be wrong on
Mhm.
that.
Wow. Well, I like that it's a different style compared to the, more traditional Phoenix Wright games in terms of the courtroom, etc. So I because I played the demo of the first, you know, Ace the first game in this collection, I guess, right? There's two games. Um,
Yep.
and it was about the mystery of the person who was shot in Miles Edgeworth's office.
Office, yes.
I thought that was the whole game, but you're saying that's just case one, and then there's more
Oh yeah,
cases? Ah.
that's the first part, and I think they allude that that's going to somehow like the characters there or something comes back. That usually
Mm.
what these games do is they give you like a sample case that is kind of relevant, and then the further we go along, we find out there's a bigger story happening here, and now you're just a part of it. So we
Right.
need to wait and see how that whole thing's going to come together.
Very cool. That's right. Yeah, it sounds great. Definitely. Looking forward to your review then, or your full review of that game. So you're still playing the first one at the moment, and you're three
Yes.
cases in. Do you know how many cases there might be in total?
I don't. Usually there tend to be about five or
Hmm.
six, I believe.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just kind of like going with the flow. So I haven't researched into how deep
Yeah.
I'm going to be into this game yet.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, I enjoyed the demo. I only played the first of the two, and really enjoyed it. So can definitely recommend that. So yeah, looking forward to hearing what you score it eventually. Very cool. Do you want to move on to your next title?
Yeah, I'll quickly talk about this one too. This game is called Cash Cow DX. This is another release published by Flynn's Arcade. So, we're going to get a sort of retro video game. It's made by the same people who made Donut Dodo, which I reviewed a year or two ago
Okay.
here. They're they're retro games designed as if it's a game you would actually play in the arcade. So they're not just trying to recreate the era; they're trying to create the actual feel of going to an arcade, putting in a quarter, and playing a video game.
Cool.
And I dig that.
Oh,
I think that's a good approach to it. Cash Cow DX is a very odd game. It's kind of like a cross between Sonic the Hedgehog, um, Pac Man, and maybe even Donkey Kong.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's a platformer. You're kind of hopping around. You need to collect these. They look like gems. I believe it's supposed to be a kind of money. Um, but you, at least so far, you don't have any weapons. You're a cow, and you're just kind of like sliding around and moving very quickly, very very quickly through. You're at Sonic style speeds
Right.
to catch all these gems and clear them out. And then there are these enemies that you can run into. Um, I have yet to encounter any kind of weapon. So all I'm doing is just jumping and moving to avoid them. And you're moving so fast that it's very difficult to do. There are spikes on the bottom. So if you fall off the wrong ledge, you're going to die. If you run into them, you're going to die. There are pipes to kind of warp you back and forth to the other side. So you can see the gems you missed and you got to go back and get them. You don't have to backtrack, although sometimes it's better to. Sometimes you're going through the pipes to avoid the enemies. Very hectic, very fast action. Difficult, but fun. Just like really over the top, intense action in these really quick bursts of gaming. And it's fun.
Yeah, it certainly looks fun. I love how they say on the eShop listing that it's, inspired by 80s arcade experiences and it's released 40 years late.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it feels like. You play these games, and like if you were trying to trick somebody, you could ask them, "Did you ever play this?" Back in the day, and yeah, I remember. I remember this, even though it wasn't there. It just absolutely captures. Although this one's this, I don't know that there were any arcade games that would have been as difficult out of the gate as Cash Cow
Mm.
DXs. It's very hard right away.
Mhm.
If you were playing this at an arcade, you would be off the machine in 15 seconds the first time you tried it, and would be
Yeah.
furious and not play it anymore.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's a game that's meant to challenge you, and we talked about games being brutal. The good thing with this though is, like with say Volgarr the Viking, when you die, you have to go all the way back, to, as you mentioned, to a previous save point that's going to lead to an awful lot of repetition as you play through.
Mhm.
Games like this were designed to be repetitious. There's only one screen, and although it scrolls back and forth, like you look at the images here on the eShop, that's not the whole level. It's going to move left and right.
Ah, okay.
Not a
Mhm.
lot, but you've got maybe like twice as much real estate as what you see in the screen at a time. At least so
Mhm.
far, I imagine, as I go along, that may get even longer. Um, but
Yeah,
it's all
okay.
about learning the map, learning how to get through it. Maybe even you die enough and you start to get a pattern. You can develop your own way through it where the enemies are doing the same thing each time. I haven't tried that yet, so I can't verify it, but I imagine that's the case. So dying isn't as annoying because you're just right back to the beginning of this level, as opposed to a whole area that you now have to traverse.
Mm. Yeah. Cool. I love it. Looks fun. Looks different. Yeah,
Yeah.
and hard. It does look hard. Especially if you can't
Yeah.
shoot or jump or, jump on enemies, you just have to avoid them. That makes it hard. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Even if I was coming down from the top, like I said, as I go along, it could be that they do start to help you out a little bit with some kind of, or even like an invincibility mode you could pick up.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh, wow, that's
Pac-Man
cool.
could do that. I imagine Cash Cow will be able to do the same.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. How so is it you said it's sort of I can see the Sonic reference because he's so the cow is quick. She's is a female, I think the cow, she's quick. Um, how is it like Pac-Man? Is it the collecting of all the objects kind of thing in a
Yes.
maze-like environment, I suppose?
Yeah. Yeah. This is, and
Yeah.
it is kind of like you need to learn how to get around. Um, where you need to be in order to reach certain levels. Like you see slides, they're coming off them and jumping. You're going to be able to get further than not coming down the slide. So you do need to do it like like that. You're looking at it from a side view. Pac-Man, of course, what was Pac-Man top down? I mean, I guess in my mind it was top down, but I suppose it could
Yeah.
have been on some weird level.
But then when you think about it, you
Okay.
see the side of his head, right? You don't see the
Yeah.
top otherwise it'd just be a circle
Yeah.
when you think about it.
So
I've never thought about that.
strange.
Blows my mind a little bit,
Yeah,
actually.
I never have either till just now. But yeah, this you're looking at this from the side, but it does have that exact same feel. It's not quite as confined as Pac-Man was. The maze designs, there's more room to move around between the objects that you got to land on and jump from.
Mm,
But it still is very much a maze of these gems or coins that you're picking up and figuring out how to get to all of them.
yeah. Yeah, sounds like a good time. Is that out now or not yet?
Yes. No, no,
26th?
excuse me. No.
26th.
Yeah, September 26th.
Yeah. So out
So what? That's a
soon.
Thursday. Is that a
That's a
Thursday? That's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, don't do that to us. That's weird. Now they're
Yeah. So
adding Thursdays into the mix. Come on. It's Friday or Tuesday. Come on. I think that's the 2 days. Okay, well, that's just another interesting if you happen to be bored on a Thursday and you wanted to play something brutal, then this would be the game for you, I imagine. Maybe that's
brutal
why
but
they
colorful and happy.
yes.
It's a
That
very
might be
happy
why
game.
yeah, it does look very colorful, and I think in one of the screenshots oh, maybe it's not. It looks like a celebration, but I think it's just the sparkly money gem things. It just looks like I don't know, it looks like a party. It just looks cool. But the 26th, yeah, that was the Star Wars, Hunter's Day. Maybe that's why they moved it. They don't wanna compete with Cash Cow DX. So
That could be true. We should also point out the Cash Cow DX is only $6. So
oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a nice little bargain price there. Very
Yep.
cool. Yeah, I love it. Yes, looking forward to hearing your full review on that one as well then in the soon coming days slash weeks. One more game that I have on my list to talk about, which is called Stumble Guys. And this one, it's been on my list for a couple of weeks, sorry, and it's been pushed back because we've had other things to talk about. This one actually came out in August, August the 20th. So it is out now. It is free. And if you cannot guess by the name Stumble Guys, it sounds very much like Fall Guys, Stumble, Fall, and it is. It's a clone. It's a Fall Guys clone, but it's actually really fun. I did jump on and play it, and found myself winning a lot more in Stumble Guys than I did in Fall Guys. Maybe I don't know why that might be. Maybe more people are playing Fall Guys, or they're better at Fall Guys. Um, but I seem to do better in Stumble Guys. I had lots of fun. It's a free game, so it's very similar setup. You can obviously download it and play it without paying anything, but you could buy yourself, gear for your avatar, for example. There's costumes aplenty, as all of these games have. So if you wanted to dress up your little avatar, you could do that, but you certainly don't have to. The games are similar to what you would find in Fall Guys, where you're running, jumping, trying not to fall off the edge, and trying to get to the finish line in the top half of players. I think it's 32 players. And if you finish in the top 16, you move on to the next round, and the bottom 16 are eliminated. Then it's the top 8 who go on, etc., until you're the victor. Um, I had I did have a lot of fun. I don't know how much variety there is compared to Fall Guys. It looked like there's a lot, and I have played quite a few variants, but there was seemed to be a bit of repetition in terms of you could choose these different modes. I think one is called like fan favorites or something. And maybe that's a more, confined group of, levels to play through. But it seemed to choose the same one a few times in a row, which is a bit annoying because I want some variety when I'm playing. But there's a level where you have to avoid these kind of spikes. There's a level, where you have to uh, I don't know, run down slides and jump through, giant hoops, and there's moving bits and pieces. I don't know how you'd feel about have you ever played Fall Guys or Stumble Guys, but have you played either of those 2? Okay.
The only time I played Fall Guys was at E3 when they gave me a demo of it.
Ah. Yeah, okay. So Fall Guys has been around a while then,
Yeah.
obviously. Mm. Not sure why
And
they
that
felt
was before it was released. I don't know if there was a long delay after I tried it. But
yeah, it says
yeah,
Fall
it was
Guys came
not
out
bad.
oh, this is Ultimate Knockdown though. That says 2020. I don't know all the different versions of Fall Guys. I think it's been around. Oh, even Stumble Guys, sorry, has been around by the looks of it since 2020. Maybe just not for the Switch. So it's potentially not even a new game. Maybe everyone out there already knows of it and plays it on Steam, I guess, or other consoles. But yeah, it's a thing. It exists. It's free. It's on the Switch. It's pretty fun. It's chaotic. Give it a go if you're looking for something slightly different to Fall Guys to play. I wonder if people who are like anti Fall Guys or pro Fall Guys would love or hate Stumble Guys based on I don't know, it's like Star Trek and Star Wars. I don't know.
Well, maybe they just have a experience like you did. They just feel like they're better at that for one reason or
Hmm.
another than
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's fun
I
to
wonder if
just
there are any just subtle gameplay differences that would make it more accessible to some players than others.
yeah, I don't know. It seemed like the mechanics seemed very similar to me. I think the little people are pretty cute, like little avatars, pretty cute. I unlocked a few little costume bits and pieces along the way. Yeah. It's fun to just spend a bit of time. I'd rather play Star Wars Hunters though, to be honest. I find myself
Fair.
enjoying that a bit more. But it is fun and, there's no harm in downloading it because it is free. You obviously do need online, Switch Online membership because it is completely online. Same with Star Wars Hunters, same with Fall Guys. These are 3 free games that you can play, but you do need to have online connectivity so that you can play them because there's no local play. So, yeah. If you've played Fall Guys, let us know. I might maybe I'll do a survey, which is better, Fall Guys or Stumble Guys, and see what the audience thinks. If you have a preference, of course, let us know. Yeah, but it is a fun little game. I can definitely recommend it. It's plays fine. Like yeah. Obviously, if I'm better at it, it can't be too bad. So, yeah, interesting. Um, that kind of brings us to the end of the show. I can't believe it's gone so fast. We've hit the hour mark. Anything else you wanted to bring up before we close things off?
No, except to say that we are starting to approach the Halloween season, and
Yes,
I've noticed a lot more press releases for horror slash scary games. So
brilliant.
um, we're putting in some review requests, and maybe we was it last October? Did we do a different horror game every week?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. In October. So we should probably do that again. Yeah, we'll do a
We'll see if we can get enough stacked up to run through that one more time.
yeah, absolutely. 'Tis the season. Today, in fact, for you, recording date is Friday the 13th. So
It
that's a
is.
little scary tidbit.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch a horror movie tonight?
I'm not. My youngest son, who's only 13, has decided now that he's into horror movies and has been bugging
Ah.
me to watch the Friday the 13th movies with him.
Ooh, okay.
But we're getting up early tomorrow and he's at a football game right now, so we won't be able to do it. But I did
Ah.
promise him that we will watch the full version of the original Halloween on Halloween.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll at least get that done.
Yeah, I just before we close off, I did go. We had a fair here called the Ekka in August, and there was a haunted house that you can go on, like a ride. And we went on one last year. It was pretty fun and not super scary, like little jump scares here and there. This one was something else. It was on another level. I don't know if you've ever done anything like this before, but you go into the house and people like you walk through like a maze and there's different rooms kind of like based on different movies. I think it was called Hollywood Horrors or something because they were literally based on movies. People are dressed up and they scare the living BGs out of you. Like I was terrified. One of my kids ran out. It's meant to be for 10-year-olds plus. One of my kids couldn't go through. He's 11. The other one, the 13-year-old, made it through, but I feel like I've traumatized him, honestly. It was so scary. I felt
Yeah,
scared. I love horror movies, but it was very realistic just because they were real people. They were, yeah, I won't even go into the details, but it was well done at least. Like the effects
yeah.
were very good. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we have those here. They pop up all over the place
Oh my
around
gosh.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Whether they're like that or they give you like something to look at, some kind of like they create like a little. I don't want to say diorama. What's it called? If you they create a little scene and you're looking
Mm.
over here at like what's going on, and then an actor will come from the other side.
Yeah. Oh
We
my
did
gosh.
one in real quickly in Niagara Falls where the whole thing was dark. Like
Yeah.
you literally could see nothing the whole time, and you were just walking through this dark maze, and they had like these tiny red light to kind of
Mhm.
guide you where you had to go, and then they would just bang and like scream on the
Eee.
sides next to you. My
Wow.
Max was maybe 10 at the time. 11 went in with us. Completely lost his mind. It was hilarious,
Yeah. Yeah.
just crying his eyes out, and I
Oh,
felt like we
yeah.
traumatized him. But now he's the one who wants to watch all the horror movies. So
There you
once it was
go.
done, he was very brave, very
Oh,
proud.
that's
See, I
good.
told you I could do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, right at the end of this, little tour, this Hollywood thing we did, because it's also very dark, but the very last room is like the Chainsaw Massacre, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of
Okay.
person, and
Yep.
he's got a chainsaw, and I found out afterwards it's a real chainsaw. It doesn't have the teeth on it, but it sounds and smells like a chainsaw because it is a chainsaw. It just doesn't have the teeth, so it's not gonna cut you, but it's making the noise and you can feel the air, and he
Yeah.
runs at you and chases you out of the thing, and that's how you end the thing. It's like it's full on. Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
It's great, isn't it?
It's just it was exhilarating, yeah,
Yeah.
and terrifying, but no, that's my little Halloween story. But yes, looking forward to talking about horror games over the next, I guess, month. Maybe from October, we'll do that as a little bit of a series. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Start in October. It makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for joining me today, and talking all things Nintendo. We covered a lot of games today. If you had a favorite, let us know. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on social media. We're at Pure Nintendo on Twitter/X and Blue Sky and Mastodon. You could also support us over at patreon.com/Pure Nintendo. We're putting out our next issue of the magazine, the Pure Nintendo magazine. So keep an eye out for that one. If you want to get on board, head on over to patreon.com and support us over there. Please don't forget to like this video and give us a comment. It really helps. We love hearing from you. We love engaging with you. So please do so. And until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.